Imagine standing before a raging inferno. A fire so massive, so terrifyingly hot, that no human being can even stand near it. The heat radiating from the pit is so intense that your enemies have to build a giant catapult, a manjanik, just to hurl you into the blaze. The hatred of the people around you is so deep, so absolute, that even a sick woman in the city made a solemn vow, promising that if she recovered from her illness, she would gather firewood just to see you burn. You are bound tightly. You are completely alone. You are about to be launched into certain death. What goes through your mind in a moment like this? Do you panic? Do you beg for mercy? Do you compromise your core beliefs just to survive? Thousands of years ago, one man faced this exact terror. His name was Ibrahim, and his story is not just ancient history. It is the ultimate masterclass in building an absolutely unbreakable mindset. To understand the sheer magnitude of Ibrahim's mindset, we must first understand the dark world he was born into. Ibrahim was born in the land of Canaan, a society deeply lost in ignorance and polytheism. The people of his land did not worship the Creator. Instead, they worshipped lifeless idols and the stars in the night sky. The obsession with astrology was so immense that in places like Damascus, they built 7 massive temples, each dedicated to worshipping one of the 7 visible stars, complete with elaborate rituals and offerings. From the moment he opened his eyes, Ibrahim was surrounded by an empire of illusions. Society dictated how to think, how to act, and what to worship. But Ibrahim was gifted with a profound intellect and a seeking heart. He realized early on that you cannot build a powerful, meaningful life on the foundation of an illusion. He began his quest for the ultimate truth by observing the vast universe around him. He looked up at the brilliant stars in the night sky, but as the night passed, they eventually faded away. When he saw the moon rising beautifully, casting its silver light, he thought it might be the Creator, but it too vanished. Finally, he saw the blazing sun, the biggest and brightest of them all. But when night fell, the sun was swallowed by the darkness. With pure, unclouded logic, Ibrahim declared, "I do not like things that set." This is the first monumental lesson of an unbreakable mindset, the courage to question the status quo. Ibrahim teaches us that true conviction must be anchored to the eternal, unchanging truth, not to the fleeting trends or popular opinions of the society around you. The hardest test of any conviction is when your own family stands against you. For Ibrahim, the idol-worshipping culture wasn't just in his city, it was in his home. His own father, Azar, was an idol-worshipper. Most people would simply conform to keep the peace, but an unbreakable mindset demands radical authenticity. With immense respect and gentleness, Ibrahim initiated the most difficult conversation of his life. He asked his father, "Wahai Bapaku, mengapa kamu menyembah sesuatu yang tidak mendengar, tidak melihat, and tidak dapat menolong kamu sedikit pun? Why do you worship something that cannot hear you, cannot see you, and cannot help you in any way?" He warned his father with deep affection, fearing that divine punishment would touch him. How did his father react to this pure logic and love? With brutal, unyielding hostility. His father threatened him, declaring that if he did not stop this preaching, he would stone him to death, ordering Ibrahim to leave him for a long time. Imagine the heartbreak. Yet this is where Ibrahim demonstrated incredible emotional mastery. He did not yell, he did not fight back with insults. Instead, he responded with ultimate peace. He calmly said, "May peace be upon you. I will ask my Lord to forgive you." When it became absolutely clear that his father was an enemy of the truth, Ibrahim gracefully distanced himself, proving that his heart was soft and forbearing. The motivational lesson here is profound. True strength is not aggressive. It is the ability to hold on to your principles and maintain your inner peace, even when those closest to you turn into your greatest enemies.
Ibrahim knew that to awaken his people from their deep slumber, mere words and debates were no longer enough. He needed bold, undeniable action. The opportunity arose when his people celebrated a grand annual festival outside the city. They invited Ibrahim to join the massive gathering, but he excused himself, stating that he was sick. This was a strategic move. Once the city was entirely empty, Ibrahim made his move. He headed straight to the Grand Hall, the epicenter of their false beliefs, where the massive stone idols were kept. Inside the temple, the silent stone figures were surrounded by lavish offerings of food left by the people. Standing alone in the Grand Hall, Ibrahim mocked the absolute absurdity of the situation. He looked at the lifeless stones and asked them, "Why don't you eat?" Then, with a mighty swing of his right hand, he began to smash the idols, destroying the false gods of his society, breaking them into pieces. But Ibrahim was a master strategist. He did not destroy everything blindly. With brilliant foresight, he deliberately left the largest, most imposing idol completely intact, leaving his tool hanging around its neck so they would return to question it. When the festival ended and the people returned to the temple, they were absolutely horrified. The sacred hall was in ruins. They immediately demanded to know who had committed this outrage, and the whispers in the crowd pointed to a young man known for mocking their gods, Ibrahim. They dragged him before the furious masses and interrogated him. "Did you do this to our gods, O Ibrahim?" Standing before a mob that wanted his blood, Ibrahim did not flinch. He calmly pointed to the only surviving statue. "Actually, the biggest idol did it," he challenged them. "Ask them if they can speak." The crowd was utterly dumbfounded. Ibrahim's logic was a mirror forced in front of their faces. For a brief, fleeting moment, they realized their own foolishness. They admitted to themselves that they were in the wrong. How could they worship stones that couldn't even defend themselves, let alone speak a single word? But human pride is a dangerous, blinding disease. Instead of accepting the truth and changing their ways, their humiliation turned into blinding rage. When a weak mindset is confronted with an undeniable truth it cannot defeat, it resorts to violence. And the violence they planned for Ibrahim was unprecedented. The society united in their hatred. They commanded the construction of a massive building and a giant pit to burn him alive. They gathered an unimaginable amount of firewood. The flames grew so high and the heat became so intense that no one could even approach the edge of the pit. They had to place Ibrahim in bindings and load him onto a catapult, a manjanique, to launch him into the center of the roaring blaze. As the catapult was released and Ibrahim flew through the air toward the terrifying wall of fire, he possessed a mindset so entirely surrendered to the Creator that worldly fear simply ceased to exist. While suspended in the air, facing the flames, he uttered a phrase that echoes through eternity. "Allah is sufficient for us, and He is the best protector." He did not beg the people. When the angel Jibreel came to him in the air, offering help, Ibrahim replied that he needed nothing from him. His reliance was solely on God. Because of his absolute, unshakable trust, the Creator intervened directly. Allah commanded the raging inferno, "O fire, be coolness and safety for Ibrahim." Instantly, the flames lost their ability to burn. The fire became cool and safe. The great scholars say that if Allah had not added the word safety, Ibrahim might have frozen from the coldness of the fire. It is even recorded that all the animals tried to extinguish the flames to save him, except for the lizard, the sechak, which blew on the fire to keep it burning. Ibrahim sat amidst the flames, completely unharmed, while Jibreel wiped the sweat from his face. This is the absolute peak of human resilience. When you rely entirely on the Almighty.
The plot to destroy Ibrahim failed spectacularly, leaving his enemies humiliated. But Ibrahim's trials were not over. His unbreakable conviction brought him face to face with the ultimate worldly power, Namrud. Namrud was a tyrannical king of Babylonia whose empire was massive and who had ruled with an iron fist for 400 years. Drunk on his own power, Namrud had the ultimate arrogance. He claimed to be a god. When Ibrahim was brought before him, he fearlessly looked the tyrant in the eye. Ibrahim declared his conviction. "My Lord is the one who gives life and causes death."
Namrud, trying to mock this young prophet and defend his false divinity, brought out 2 prisoners who were sentenced to die. With a wave of his hand, he executed one and pardoned the other. He smirked at Ibrahim and boasted, "I too give life and cause death." It was a cheap, childish trick, a manipulation of political power to mimic divine creation.
Ibrahim did not flinch. He did not waste time arguing over Namrud's petty definition of life and death. Instead, with brilliant presence of mind, he delivered a crushing, unanswerable challenge. He looked at the tyrant and said, "Indeed, Allah brings up the sun from the east, so bring it up from the west." The great King Namrud, the man who had ruled for 4 centuries, the man who demanded to be worshipped as a god, was instantly silenced and completely humiliated. His delusion of grandeur was shattered in a single sentence. Ibrahim proved that true confidence, rooted in divine truth, can never be intimidated by worldly power, wealth, or status. It does not matter how big the empire is or how loud the tyrant shouts. A mind anchored in the truth of the Creator is completely untouchable. From standing alone against his father, to shattering the idols of his society, to surviving the blazing inferno and silencing a tyrant king, Prophet Ibrahim teaches us the ultimate blueprint for an unbreakable mindset. It requires seeking the truth, mastering your emotions, taking bold action, and trusting the Creator entirely. But Ibrahim's journey does not end here. The greatest, most heartbreaking tests of his life, involving a barren desert, a desperate mother, and an unimaginable sacrifice, were still to come. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to Timeless Chronicles so you don't miss part 2 of this epic journey. Stay motivated and stay timeless.